Alright, shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this video, I like to give all praises, all glory, all honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, giving double honors unto the elders and apostles of greatness soon, from El Apostle to Hakom all the way down, and shalom to the 144,000 chosen men, and shalom to the elect men, women, and children who be surely showing grace in these times. This is brother Hanan back out here at the next video. This video we're going to go into Revelation, the 13th chapter from verse 9 to 10. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And we know this judgment here is set for Esau, Edom, and for all the other heathen nations that would have took Israel into their possession, took Israel and made them their captives, to prove that they did that to the Israelites. Time is 144. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 25, from verse 12. Thus say the Lord Yahweh Shai power, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and had greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. And how did he do this? By making Israel his slaves. There's the book of Amos, chapter 1 and verse 11. Because we know the chief or the head honcho when it comes to making Israel captives was Esau, Edom. All the other nations had a part to play in it, but the chief man when it comes to this is Esau, Edom. If I read that, I'm going to read Maccabees, book of 1 Maccabees chapter 2, I read from verse 9. Actually, I read from verse 7. Because we know all the nations had a part to play in this. But he head on Tracy, so Edom, the 1 Maccabees 2 and 7. He said, "Woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people, of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. The temple is become as a man without glory. The glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Infants are slain in the streets. A young man with the sword of the enemy." And we know who was blessed with his sword. He saw Edom. Pursuing to Genesis 27 from verse 38 to 40, as he saw Edom blessing. What nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? Her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman she is become a bond slave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory, is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. And when you go into Gentiles, that would obviously refer to what the heathen nations. You can even go to the book of Psalms, chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep not thou silent, O power. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. And we know the enemies here will be referring to the heathen nations, as Nehemiah chapter 5 and verse 9. Get that real quick. Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought he not to walk in the fear of our power, Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, because of the reproach of the heathen, our enemies? I'm angry with that and think, well, the enemies are the Israelites, is the heathens, but not the enemies of Yahweh. But we know any time he's the enemy of the Israelites, is the enemy of Yahweh, because the book of Zechariah, chapter 2 and verse 8 say this: "For thus said the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yeshai of hosts, after the glory had he sent me unto the nations which spoil you, for he that toucheth you touched the apple of his eye. So we know anytime you come up against the nation of Israel, you're warring with the Lord. So back to the book of Psalms, chapter 83. Reading back verse 2. For lo thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thine hidden ones. So like they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, meaning they all in agreement, they are confederate against thee. And read down from verse 6 to verse 6 to 8, you will see all of them confederate against you, and we know that this end up being all the other heathen nations in the planet. Every single one of them against the Israelites. They back to the book of Ezekiel chapter 25. Not Ezekiel, my apologies. Book of Amos chapter 1 and verse 11. And we know them is the ones that have enslaved the people of Israel. Thus say the Lord Yahweh Shai, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. I'm going back to where it's in Revelation 13 and verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. So you ought not, basically not taking back this punishment. Esau Edom sure to live out this. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and they cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. And verse 12 going into what you can do to them. But essentially, because Esau Edom led the nation of Israel into captivity, he himself will surely go into captivity. The book of Psalms, chapter 18, and from verse 37, I believe it is. Yeah, Psalms 18 from verse 37. There's proven here for a fact that we will possess the nation of Esau Edom, and in turn possess the rest of the heathens. We'll possess all of them in the end, yes, but the main nation we're going up against and going to fuck up will be the Edomites, because them was the head honchos when it comes to leading the nation of Israel into captivity. In Psalms 18 verse 37, I have pursued my enemies and overtaken them, neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I've wounded them that they were not able to rise, they are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength unto the battle, thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord Yahweh Shai, but he answered them not. Saying what? Going back to the same Revelation 13 and 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord Yahweh Shai, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. Thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. So just like what we served them in captivity when we were captives, they will serve us. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me, and the strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their close places. Our next psalm to read is Psalms 149 from verse 5. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of power be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains, just like how they bound us with chains, and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. One more precept to read here. Then the Lord says, it's all lawful, because Yahushai coming here to do what? To establish the law in the earth. Let me get that real quick. Psalms 119, verse 126. It is time for thee, Lord Yahweh Hashem Yeshai, to work, for they have made void thy law. The Lord coming to do what? Establish his law in the earth, because the heathens clearly do not give a fuck about the law of the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yeshai. So what Yahweh Shai coming here to what? Establish the law, that which his father gave him. Back to the point I was adding here, because what? All of this is lawful. If you go back to the law, okay, you come into establish the law, right? If you go back to the law, the scripture say what? An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Captivity for captivity, the sword for the sword. And all of this here is lawful. Is 1 Thessalonians 1 and 6. So it's not that. It's 2 Thessalonians. Yes, slack. 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. Seeing it is a righteous thing with power to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And I'm actually going to that word tribulation. I don't think I ever went into it. Quick, 2 Thessalonians 1 and 6. Tribulation. That tribulation is Greek G2347, thalipsis, metaphorically, I read in second definition, metaphorically, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits. So what? Seeing it is a righteous thing with power to recompense oppression to them that trouble you, or what to they that oppressed you. And to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahweh Shai, so like when the Lord Yahweh Shai shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not power and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yeshai, and from the glory of his power, when he shall come to be glorified in his saints, and to be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day. But what? He going to send what? Trouble for what? Them that trouble you. Oppression for them that oppressed you. Actually, I have one more precept to read before I close all the Lamentations 4. I read from verse 21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. The punishment of thine iniquities accomplished, O daughter of Zion. We know ultimately all of this here what the Lord did to the nation of Israel was just. We disobeyed the Lord's statutes and commandments, and what the heathen put us in their captivity. Now that we have turned back to the Lord Yahweh Shai, he will turn back the curses unto them. The book Deuteronomy, I believe is the 33rd, not the 33rd, the 32nd chapter. I say that all these curses that were new will be poured upon them. Roughly paraphrasing. See, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Verse 22. The punishment of thine iniquities accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom, he will discover thy sins. So what? The Lord will not take all the pain and oppression he put upon the children of Israel and put it upon the heathen nations, starting chiefly with Esau, Edom, and by default go pour upon all the other nations. In that I like to give all praises, all glory, all honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash, giving double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, from El Apostle to Hakam all the way down. And shalom to the 144,000 chosen men. Shalom to the elect men, women, and children who be surely shown grace in these times. This was your brother Hanana signing out. Till next time, saying shalom.